2 lanes to keep right.
Hey friends, it is Tuesday.
Hi everyone.
It's Tuesday, August 3, 2021, and you are watching Prepare to Go There. And as you can tell, it's a little different because I got my best friend, my wife for life, my secret weapon, and today my special guest, Sarah Joy. She is on Satasha
Joymanoff.
Where did that come from?
It's my alter ego. So we were on vacation, and
it's just a nickname.
It's a funny nickname. We watched Black Widow, and then we were on Disney Plus, like renaming our profiles, and there was a new icon, which was Natasha Romanoff, and I was like, "Ooh, that's cool! I want to change mine from the Lady and the Tramp Dog to her." And so I renamed myself Satasha Joymanoff.
Yeah, and I'm Peter Lorien after Mandalorian. So it's all fun and games. It's great.
Yeah.
We are here back again to keep the future on our front burner. And I just want to say thank you for being the most consistent viewer on Prepare to Go There.
It's true.
Come live the most and
Thank
you
you.
comment the most.
Thank you.
So thank you. And so we want to just give a shout out to all the future friends out there. If you're watching, say hi. Tell us where you're watching from. And this is going to be a very important, exciting topic. We're going to be diving in to leading ourselves at home. And specifically, we're talking about food.
It's so good.
Food is so important. First off, I'll let you kind of give the pitch for future friends and also the PDF.
Super.
Fail-proof planning guide.
Well,
I'll click through it. You tell us what it's all about.
That's great. It is August, but it's never too late to start planning your year, especially if it's not going the way that you thought it would. And it's always a good idea to fail-proof your planning. So if you haven't grabbed the fail-proof planning guide yet on Peter's website, you need to go head over there and get it. It will help you strategically think through the way that you plan. And it helps you to future-proof a lot of what you do, which we all know is super helpful because a lot of times you can self-sabotage when you feel discouraged about your progress. And if unforeseen events kind of start taking the helm, you might get discouraged. You might give up on your plans because they're not going how you thought they would. And so this fail-proof planning guide can help you walk through kind of some different scenarios and figure out different ways and tactics to pre-plan how you would work if your plans get messed up. And so it's really good. It will help you a lot. And all you have to do to get it is sign up for the email list, which Peter calls the future friends. And that doesn't mean, it doesn't just mean that you're friends because you haven't met yet, but it means that you are a future thinker and you're a community of future thinking people. So join the email list. You'll get a blog once a week from Peter. You'll also get all of his weekly vlogs just put in together one nice email for you to scan through and pass along those links to everybody else. And you'll also get exclusive emails and coaching information, all of the above. So you want to make sure that you're a part of that email community. Did I do good?
It was perfect.
All right.
Perfect. So we're going to dive into the conversation at hand, which is nice. Hi, Jeff.
Hi, Jeff.
Welcome. This is going to be so good. And please, guys, drop in comments and questions because this one's going to be really important. We're all about this week is all about winning at the home front, winning at home, leading yourself at home. And so today is all about food, finding the best food and feeding yourself. Here's a quote. Julia Child said, "People who love to eat are always the best people."
It's good.
So true.
Gotta love Julia Child.
All right. So let's face it. Your food isn't helping anybody. Let's just kind of crash through some of these myths. Paint the picture. What's the problem? What do we need to be aware of as we try to just feed ourselves in the day?
Okay, well, that's good. I'm not sure I understand the quote. Your food isn't helping anybody?
Just the conversation we were talking about.
You need to help yourself? What do you?
Yes, you need to feed yourself. You need to fuel yourself the right stuff.
Yes.
You need to know what you're looking for.
Okay, cool. Your food can be helpful, but most of the time it is not. And the reason it is not is because a lot of the food that you would get from a restaurant or even from the grocery store is not real food. I've heard people call it frankenfood, but it has so many different preservatives and stuff that your body doesn't really know what to do with it. And it's definitely not nourishing you at the end of the day. So in order to have a productive life, in order to get stuff done, in order to be in a great mood, and if you're a manager of other people, being a great boss for other people to be around and to treat people well, to be a great spouse, to have energy and capacity to do stuff, you're going to need to put the right fuel inside the tank. And so a lot of people don't know how to do that, or it seems really intimidating. Frankenfood ain't helping nobody. Thank you, Jeff. But it's so true. And one of the things that was crazy to us is realizing people who go through chronic stress in their body. So even you feel a lot of stress all the time, or you're experiencing crazy symptoms that have to do with stress, like anxiety or like chest pain or shortness of breath, all kinds of stuff. Sometimes your doctor might tell you it is stress. And you're like, well, I didn't really think my job was that bad, but okay. Stress can happen also when your body doesn't know how to process the food that you're giving it. And so all you're surviving off of, it doesn't know what to do with all of this crazy stuff that's put inside your food. Your body doesn't know how to process it, where to put it. And so that can actually stress you out, if that makes sense. So I just hear all the time that people are dealing with anxiety and stress and, blah, 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 blah. If you've been around Peter's channel for even a minute, kind of the story that we walk through as well with that. And it's been very eye-opening to go into food and learn more about it. But yeah, stay away from frankenfoods. But anyway, I think we want to tailor this conversation to those of you who are maybe starting to think about, I guess, eating better at home, whether you want to, 1, save money by not eating out all the time, or 2, figure out how to properly fuel yourself. Or you might be a single person thinking, I never have energy to cook for just myself. I'd just rather eat cereal or like grab something on the way home. Or you might be just slammed with work and family and you think, I'm just going to throw together like Hamburger Helper, or pick up something from Chick-fil-A and call it a day. So we want to just target that. We're not going to go into like recipe planning or, anything deep, but just hit the basics for how you can have a good approach to food and the game changer that it can be in your life.
The first thing is having the right mindset about food. And some people can actually kind of be weirded out by it. And, they think they're so heavenly minded, they're no earthly good. And they just kind of think that it's all like indulgence. And really, food is a gift. It is wonderful. It's helpful. It is fuel for your life. Mm-hmm. And you need to embrace it, but you need to steward it well. Mm-hmm. Other people, they are more passive in the way that they eat. Mm-hmm. They don't think about where the food came from. They don't think about what the food's doing to them. And I want to encourage you, if you're passionate about your job, you're passionate about your work, you're passionate about your life, get just as passionate about your food, because mm-hmm. that is fueling your life. Food is more than just the flavor. Food is fuel for all of those things that you want to do. So when we talk about the future and your dreams and your goals, you can actually get shut down because you're not taking this conversation to mm-hmm. heart. So
it's good.
So where do we begin? How do we begin to find and filter the right food? How do we begin to look at not just the cool pictures on the brand, but how do we actually look at the ingredients? Just kind of give us some things that we can start detecting.
That's really good. Well, Peter's into tactics on this Prepare to Go There show. So I want to give you some tactics, or we want to give you some tactics today to have for your approach to food. So I would say the first tactic is learn all you can about food, and learn all you can about the food that fuels you the best. So it is a really good idea to find out just take a food journal. I know Peter's talked about this before, but take a food journal of how you feel after you eat a meal. And is it draining you, for example? Like, do you feel so sluggish, exhausted after you eat a meal? Not in a good way where you're like warm, tingly, like, oh, wow, I could float right to sleep and stay asleep all night long. But where you're just completely wiped. You might have just had lunch and you're like, I can't do any more work for the day. I feel terrible. Make note of that. If you feel freezing cold, for example, if your nose, your fingertips feel really cold after you eat, or your feet, that's a sign that something that you ate isn't responding well. Your body's not digesting it well. It's not going good. If you have a stomach ache, acid reflux, all kinds of stuff like that, obviously that's not good either. So just start taking a journal of what you're eating. That's an easy way to find out the things that you're responding well to versus the things you're not responding well to. And just having that knowledge about what is good for your body or like what you respond well to is that's very helpful for feeling great and knowing what to buy in the store and cook for yourself. Because at the end of the day, sometimes foods just your body doesn't like them, period. And sometimes it just doesn't like them for a season. And a lot of times you can think, oh, like I really like this granola bar, obsessed with it. I'm going to buy like it in bulk from Costco. I'm going to have 400 of them and I'm going to take it every day to work because it's so easy. Then your body starts rejecting it and you actually feel terrible every time you eat it. So a lot of times it's just getting a little bit more variety. And if you're not responding well to one thing, for example, let's say it's bananas, take it out of your diet for a long time, take it out for 2 or 3 months and then eat a banana and see how you feel afterward. And sometimes it'll resolve itself. But anyway, just having that self-knowledge of what you respond well to versus what you don't is going to be very empowering. And the next thing that I would tell you to do after you kind of figure out what foods sit well with you is figure out your macros, figure out how much you should be eating. And don't just do it on like how to lose weight fast. How much should I be eating? Because at the end of the day, I'm not one that ascribes to starving yourself in order to lose weight or anything. I think just the more I learn, the more safe your body feels and the more consistent you're being with your diet, the more it will know what to do, where to place stuff, how to heal stuff, and then shed the rest. So I would focus on properly nourishing your body. And so having an idea of how much you should be eating and making a practice of that, not in a religion, like tracking every single thing every single day, but do it for a week or two to where you get a sense of this is how many meals I should probably be eating. And this is kind of how I should structure my day in order to get those kind of nutrients in. That's going to be really helpful to you to just have that knowledge of this is what I should be eating. And I guess the last thing I would say is try to learn all you can about what is good food versus what isn't. I think the easiest thing is to learn how to read labels. Just flip the label. If the first ingredient is high fructose corn syrup.
Yeah, tell us what to look out for.
Put it down and walk away. Okay, so I can't tell you everything to look out for. I would just say if the first thing to think about is the first ingredient listed is what is mainly inside of it. And things are listed in order from the highest ingredient to the lowest ingredient. So if the first thing is sugar, or if the first thing is corn syrup, or if the first thing is some crazy ingredient, you know that is mainly what it's composed of. And so, if it's high fructose corn syrup, walk away. Like, don't get that. If it's something that you don't know how to pronounce or you have no idea what it is, probably a good idea to leave it and walk away. I would not buy anything that has any kind of artificial food coloring in it. Red 40, yellow 30. I don't know. If it has those fake colors in it, those have known effects in your body to make you feel crazy. Yeah, corn syrup, terrible. It's usually GMO corn. If you know you don't respond well to gluten, wouldn't eat that. If you can't pronounce it, don't have any clue what it is, put it back. The simpler that it looks, the better. So that's my consensus of
that's
what
really
to
good.
Look out for.
We kind of picked up this trick recently maybe you've already known it for a long time, but she told me to hold the food right in my hands. What was all that about?
Okay, so well, this is where it starts getting weird. So I apologize in advance, but
it's a fun game at least.
We went and got at our chiropractor some food testing done there that has to do with kinesiology, and so they kind of muscle test you to find out like what you respond well to. But one thing that you can do if you can practice it, you can try it at home and see what works for you. You can video yourself or have somebody else watch you, but basically take any food, stand to the side. How is this camera set up? Mm-hmm. Stand to the side. Let's say this is what I'm going to eat. And you'll be standing up, not sitting down. So stand, kind of grab it, hold it, and your body will sway one way or the other. So if you're holding it, if it leans toward it, then
you're okay.
You're okay. Your body likes that. Or if your first response is kind of like you feel yourself shift back, your body is rejecting it. And when we have done this kind of like as a joke, it's been like pretty on point.
Pretty
like,
good.
Oh, yeah.
The other,
like this is something I know I don't respond well to. I'll hold it so that's one thing you could try.
That's just a fun hack to kind of play with. But I'm so thankful for Sarah Joy. She really inspired me to get engaged with not just eating, but understanding what I was eating. And you need to know this is going to be a journey. Mm-hmm. You need to know that other people will be there to help you. You'll have family, friends, practitioners, experts, the real healthcare providers and healers out there are going to be with you, to walk with you and to give you encouragement and clarity along the way. But don't be passive about this. You need to be listening. You need to be looking. You need to be asking questions, because we're talking about you. We're talking about your health. We're talking about your future. And a big part of this is becoming self-reliant, even with our food. So can you just kind of give us a snapshot of what does it mean to be kind of self-reliant, more self-reliant with our food, but also like why that would be important?
I mean, without getting into like hurricane status where you can't go, anywhere because the streets are flooded and you have to cook with what you have in your home. Without getting into all of that, which definitely is a contingency that you should probably plan for, because, it's 2021. That's all I can say. But without getting into any of that, if you should have a sense of how to cook for yourself. And not all of us were raised, in a family that cooked all the time or like learned these skills at an early age. But I just want to say, like, it's not as intimidating as maybe you've made it out to be in your mind. And a lot of stuff is very, very simple to cook and very, easy to come up with. And I think at the end of the day, you can't expect, let's say, Chick-fil-A or Taco Bell or Subway, to put together a meal that's specifically designed for you and what works well with your body, because they have no idea. So just because it's on their menu and it might say healthy, that doesn't mean that it's something that's going to respond well to you. It doesn't mean that that's something that's going to give you the nutrients that you need. They don't know the other 3 meals that you got that day or the other 2 meals that you got that day to know what's been a deficit and what you need to make up for in that last meal of the day. So being able to cook for yourself gives you that power to make sure that you're getting the right nutrients and just to have the control over what goes in your body. And, a lot of restaurants, they're going to cook with the absolute cheapest oils that shouldn't be cooked with. And I'm going to say, like, that's, if you feel bad most of the time after you eat, is probably the oil it's cooked with. I mean, that's a huge part of, learning about food, is staying away from certain oils. And I'll just leave that there. If you want to dig more into it, find me on Instagram.
This is a really fun topic. It can take you far and wide for sure.
Can take you really deep.
But the encouragement is just to realize food, for the most part, majoritively speaking, food is necessary for survival.
Yeah.
So the ability to find, make, provide food is a survival skill. And yet so many of us don't take that personal, and we assume that we'll just always have access, or that it will always come in the right form or condition.
Mm-hmm.
And Prepare to Go There is all about getting life skills that can help you thrive in the future. And so do not outsource, do not delegate, do not abdicate one of the most basic survival skills,
That's good.
which is getting good food in your system and getting good food, in your family or your community as well. So
Mm-hmm.
that's all the encouragement is get engaged. Don't be passive. Don't be a mindless eater. Don't be a stress eater, but
Mm-hmm.
really make your food purposeful, make it intentional, make it count, and you will absolutely feel the results of that when you're not just reacting to your emotions in the day, but you are running with intentionality, you're running with a plan, you're running with values. You have a better filter
Mm-hmm.
for what you're putting, in your system.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember one of those aha moments for me was when I realized how many times food or meals were in the Bible. And I could see that that was actually a spiritual moment
Mm-hmm.
where there was some sort of celebration or some sort of worship. And the way it kind of came across to me was that food is one of those places where you can actually encounter the Lord. Now, the point is, I don't want to make that sound weirder than it has to be. I'm just saying we have gratitude for his provision. We, are living with simplicity and trust. We're sharing freely. But we're also choosing things that are God-made and God-given, and not just going with all the fake food and the freak food, that can be sold to us. So really, take this to heart. Really, really take this to heart, because you're investing in your future. I would much rather invest a little bit of time and maybe money to figure this piece out than to give so much more money later on, just on the back end with a healthcare system that's just trying to patch things back together. So
That's true.
Be proactive, be preventative, and take this to heart, because it really will help you leverage what's possible in your future. Any other things you want to add before we wrap this up? This has been really good.
Yeah, I have some more tactics. I have another one that not necessarily a tactic, but just a tip that I want to leave you with. A lot of people complain about how expensive organic food is, or healthy, quote unquote, food is. And when you're matching it up to something that isn't even food, like Lay's potato chips, or, whatever, Oreos, like stuff that's not even like real ingredients. When you're matching it up to something that's not even a food, it's going to look super cheap. One very simple way that we found money in our budget to exclusively eat organically is we quit eating out. So if you're looking for money in the budget, I mean, the answer lies within itself is, quit eating out all the time. And you're probably going to have hundreds more in your budget in order to put that into your grocery list. So that's a simple tip that I will leave you. The second tactic, though, that I think you can apply to your life that's very helpful to stay in the rhythm of cooking for yourself is when you do go to the grocery store, try to buy things in bulk. And don't just buy one little package of something, but if you know what you're going to go through and you know what you eat on a regular basis,
totally.
Buy a good amount of it, because I don't know about you, but I don't feel like going to the grocery store every other day. Or if I'm going to try to cook something, I don't want to be hungry, go to the pantry.
Yeah, that's the recipe for disaster.
Not have everything I need to cook with. And then I need to go to the store to find
I thought you were going to say you're hungry.
Even hungrier.
You're hungry and you're going through the grocery store just looking for that one meal.
Oh.
which
Well,
is fun and which can be, you know,
yeah.
a fun date night, but
Not if you're hungry. I don't know.
don't make that a routine. Don't make that a habit. Like, try to think ahead.
If you're trying to cook at home, don't save yourself the extra step of having to go to the grocery store because you don't have all the ingredients on hand. In order to stay in that rhythm, have supplies on hand where you can go into the pantry and buy that. And also, if you're buying it in a bigger amount, chances are it's going to be a lot cheaper when you get to the end of the month of what you've spent versus if you're buying tiny packages of all the same things.
Now, let me ask you a question. Do you ever eat out or eat with friends? You enjoy the meal and then you think, I could figure this out?
Yeah, all the time. If I really enjoy something and I want to make it at home, I make it at home.
See, that would actually be a game changer for a lot of us if we actually said, oh, this is not a mystery. This is not, you know, beyond me. Maybe I could figure out how to make this too.
Yeah, totally.
That would be really cool.
Definitely. The third tactic that I have for you kind of goes with the second one, but that's batch prep meals when you can. And maybe not meals, but part of meals. I'm not a big meal prepper where I take a little, you know, on Sunday night, I take something and I batch it out into like days and days and days. I've tried a couple times. Honestly, I don't get into it too much, but I do batch a few things that we can all like grab throughout the week. And it's super helpful to have that on hand. One thing that we do is like a breakfast. And we kind of do two breakfasts, one before the workout and then another like, you know, hot breakfast afterward. But just that breakfast snack to eat before coffee in the morning, I'll batch prep like a pear oatmeal kind of thing. And I'll have enough of that for both of us for a week. And that I'll just make it once a week, have it in the fridge. It's ready to go. A lot of times I do a monster batch of rice. And so that's ready to throw in to a meal. Or I'll cook a whole chicken and then that's ready to go for sandwiches, for dinners. You know, I can make a lot of stuff with that. So I'm not saying figure out all the meals that you're going to have for the week and make them all on Sunday afternoon.
Yeah, that's really good.
Whenever you bake something, bake enough, or whenever you cook something, or whenever you go to get your Instant Pot out, don't make enough for one meal, like make enough for 4. And then, you know, there's one quote that says, like, cook once, eat twice. And even if you just make enough for 2 meals, you're saving yourself that much time. The next time that it comes time to make something for dinner. So you're cutting your prep time into quarters whenever you do that. So I think that can be another really helpful tactic. The last one that I have for you is just learn some basics of cooking. Sorry, I wrote it down, but just learn some basics of cooking because that can hold a lot of people back if they don't feel confident or they have no idea what's going on in the kitchen. You don't always need a recipe to follow. I substitute stuff all the time in recipes. If I'm just looking up how to bake something or how to cook something, you can just, I don't want to sound too simple and like throw you off, but like you don't have to have everything that the recipe calls for in order to make it. You can just use what you have on hand or substitute stuff out. If, like, for example, if it says all-purpose flour, like if you have to do a gluten-free flour, just substitute the gluten-free flour for the regular flour. Or if it calls for milk, use whatever kind of milk that you are currently using. Or, you know, if it calls for vegetable oil, please don't use vegetable oil. Use coconut oil, use olive oil, use butter. Like you can substitute things all the time. And just watching a few YouTube videos or getting a really simple cookbook can really help you in your skills in the kitchen. And I think you would agree, just knowing your way around like a few staples
Absolutely
is super, super handy.
It's a lot of fun and you can get better every single time. It's the perfect, you know, fast track to learn something, get better at something because you're eating all the time. So you're trying things all the time and you're getting better as you go. And it's really fun to do it with friends or with family. Sarah's family is amazing and they talk about the food while they're eating it sometimes, where they'll try to guess different ingredients or recipes, and they're actually kind of breaking down the process, working through it. I've just learned if you just hang around some, people that love to cook, love to eat, it'll rub off on you too. So
I got a few tips for you. I'm just going to make them up. Well, one is I heard it, so I didn't make this one up, but cook stuff low and slow. A lot of times you'll be trying to rush the process, and so you turn it on high and then you burn the food, or it doesn't cook evenly. And a lot of times, just knowing, like, if I'm going to put something on the stove, just put it on medium to low. Medium to low is all you need to know. Just
Nice.
cook it slower. It usually turns out better. If you want to cook something faster, don't necessarily turn the heat up. Just cover it. So if you're cooking something on the stovetop, putting a lid on it will help cook it faster. If you're cooking something in the oven, putting something on top, putting like a baking sheet on top of it, or, covering it if you have like a Dutch oven, covering the item will help cook it thoroughly and faster instead of just turning the heat up and kind of ruining it. Also, just think you always need a barrier between what you're cooking and the pan or whatever you're cooking it on. So barriers could be butter, could be ghee, could be coconut oil, could be olive oil, but you need like a little barrier. Otherwise, all your food's going to stick to the pan. So just learning those little things, I guess. Learn what your seasonings are. Don't be afraid to lick batter. I mean, raw eggs aren't going to kill you. And they usually don't. They usually don't give you salmonella. So, sorry, not sorry. Try your batter. Learn what kind of seasonings you like, and just be comfortable adding some stuff in, experimenting there. And if it's gooey in the oven, keep baking it until the fork comes out clean. That's it. That's all you need to know.
It's so easy, guys. We got this. We can do this. One of the reasons why people don't like to eat at home, cook at home, is because then they have to clean it all up. They have to put it all up. This is a real part of some people. They think of the efficiency. They think of the path of least resistance. They're just hungry in the moment. So, they're trying to find some sort of delivery system, just kind of drop it off.
Mm-hmm.
We do that. That's fun. We do it more in a social sense, or we do it more as like a treat. We don't do that as like necessarily an everyday thing.
Mm-hmm.
What can you say just in terms of organization or simplicity around the house, around the kitchen? Are there any simple things that we're implementing that's working?
I mean, the first thing I would go back to cook in batches, because then you're cleaning once instead of a bunch of times. So if you can get that out of the way, that's one less thing that you have to get the pan out or get the Instant Pot out every time you want to cook rice, when you cook rice once a week instead, and you don't have to clean that, break it apart. Second thing is, I don't ascribe to the thought that one person in the family does all the cooking and cleaning, because everybody's got to eat. So you can all contribute in some way. So Peter's joked before, but he's like, you cook, I clean, or vice versa. I cook, you clean. And so that's something that is helpful if you, if you aren't single, or if you live with somebody else, like one person cooks, the other one cleans, or, have everybody in the family get involved somehow. But if you are, living by yourself, and just try to cook stuff at the same time, and try to, clean once by cooking once, doing it in a bigger batch, so you don't have that mess every single time. And
just hitting
keep your dishwasher clean so you can use it.
Yes, that's a really big point. And just hitting that cleanup before you drop.
Yeah.
Just you have that natural momentum.
You speak from experience.
I do. No,
tell them about it.
No, that's a real deal. Don't. She's about to. We're gonna close this episode on a high note. It's been great.
Don't ask Peter to clean when he's exhausted.
I'm about to tell all y'all. If I'm tired, I can't move. I shut down. I can't do it.
If I tell him, oh yeah, we need to clean before we go to bed, and it's already late.
Too late.
His emotions get the best of him.
Yeah,
he can't.
So I'm working on that.
So we got to clean early.
But anyways, this has been super good. Anything else you want to say? Final words.
That's great. There's a lot to learn, and there's a lot that we still don't know, and there's a lot that we're still, learning and growing in. And we're not saying either never eat out. We're just saying,
totally.
Like, maybe register when you do. Did you feel great afterward? Was it really worth it? Was it really worth the money that you put into? It's knowledge is power. Somebody said, I don't know who, you can look it up. It was some ancient person. And they said, let food be thy medicine and medicine be thy food. And so if you're eating the right things, it can heal your body. It can, give you health in the long run. Versus if you're not, you're going to probably be paying dearly.
Yeah. So good. All right. We will wrap it up with this. I want to remind you, get the free fail-proof planning guide. Jump in the email community called Future Friends. This Friday is called Future Friday. It's dedicated to just talking about whatever you're thinking through, working through. And so you can be giving me your, when are you coming back? We need to all make it unanimous and see whenever Sarah can come back. That'd be great. You've been such a blast. Thank you for helping us and encouraging us and giving us some tactics so that way we can better lead ourselves and now feed ourselves.
That's so good.
Particularly at home. Remember, you are going places, that's for sure. So better make today count and prepare to go there.
Follow me at sarahjoy.tv.
Yeah, do. Please do. sarahjoy.tv. She's on YouTube and Instagram. And she has to jet because she's got something to post today.
Today's vlogging night.
What, are you going to give us a sneak preview? What's coming out today?
Goodbye.
What's coming out? Anything?
Come
on, give us something.
Got some projects around the house. Going to show you more of Peter's office that we worked on this week. So that's going to look good.
Which looks amazing, y'all. She's the mastermind behind all the designs behind us. So it's very
got a few other things to show you. So check out my YouTube.
All right. Love y'all. See it. Wait, can I say that? Yeah. Love you.
Love y'all.
I think.
Wait, love y'all.
This is getting awkward. We're out of here. Bye guys.
In 1,000 feet, use the right 2 lanes to keep right.